Hello, and welcome to your inner journey weather forecast, in which we utilize archetypal astrology to understand the energies outside and the energies inside this week, how they might show up in your psychedelic journeys, of your own psychedelic journeys, or if you're sitting for another during their psychedelic journeys, if you're being a sitter and holding a container for them. So this is the week of August 29th to September 4th, 2021. And the big alignment we have this week is Mars opposite Neptune, as we can see here in Archetypal Explorer. And Mars opposite Neptune is an interesting combination here. It's here all week. It comes in really tight at the end of the week. And Mars is the archetype of forceful action. It is the spectrum of Mars goes everywhere from the challenging side, which is like arguments, anger, to the rewarding side, bravery, assertiveness. And Neptune is the archetype of the infinite planes, the infinite ocean, the infinite sky, imagination, dream realm. Mars as an archetype likes to have a trajectory and a direction. It's our get up and go. It's our ability to motivate and go towards a direction. Neptune symbolizes realms that have no direction necessarily, infinite planes, no up, no down, no left, no right. So Mars and Neptune combined in tension as they are this week provides an interesting combination for us to navigate, because our linear get up and go, pep in our step can be kind of washed out by the Neptunian realm of the sense that we basically lose direction. That's the challenging way that this archetype can show up, this archetypal combination can show up, is a sense of losing direction, feeling washed out. In our psychedelic journeys, it can feel like memories can come up from birth, toxic womb, or memories from later in life where for some reason, we got washed out with our energy level got washed out. Maybe we got sick, fevers. If you're experiencing COVID this week, that can be a feeling that the energy is just washed out by the Neptunian. If you're sitting for somebody in psychedelic experience this week and they experience this combination, or if you yourself experience this combination in psychedelic journeys this week, the best thing to do is to just be with the energy, just be present with it, because there's another side to the Mercury opposite Neptune, a rewarding side. We oftentimes have to navigate the challenging sides in order to get to the rewarding sides. And the challenging sides of Mars Neptune, like we said, feeling washed out, feeling astrologer Ren Butler calls it like wet spark plugs. It's hard to get fired up. Or he says camping in the rain. It's kind of like just this energy of everything getting wet, and it's hard to get it really started, get some traction and things. Another way it can show up is Mars is our assertive energy, our ability to move forward, get things done. And in our life, to the extent that we own that Mars energy, we will oftentimes, if we can kind of master that Mars energy in ourselves, it's less likely to show up just around us in our vicinity as people trying to aggress against us or have that Mars aggressive energy pointed at us. And with Neptune there, the disorientation of Neptune can give us a feeling of like as if there's some threat out there, but we might not be able to locate it necessarily. It's some amorphous threat. That's another way it can show up. Also related to potential birth memories in birth, like toxic womb, or having a feeling of that there's some type of lurking threat that is hard to pin down, some type of biological threat or threat to your biology that's hard to pin down. And so that's another challenging way it can show up. The rewarding way it can show up is getting in touch with a kind of a flowing dance with life, in which our motivational energy and our assertive energy is not so ego focused. It's more like in a dance with life, like almost like the waves have a wave like movement, in the sense of dancing with life. So kind of allowing life to move us as a dance. So as opposed to us coming up with our motivation and going in a direction and cutting through all obstacles, it can be a little bit more receptive Mars energy. Like, I'm not just going to blaze forth. I'm going to be receptive. I'm going to see how life wants to move me, so that I can, almost like a keto, I can use the momentum events around me to move me forward. That's a positive way it can show up. Another way it can show up is bravery of diving into transpersonal experiences, into psychedelic states, because Neptune is associated with the transpersonal realm in which boundaries dissolve. We connect with a more unified field of existence, and Mars is that bravery. So all these different manifestations of the Mars archetype and the Neptune archetype you may be encountering this week. And so just be mindful that even when it shows up in its challenging ways, just by being present with and practicing archetypal mindfulness, being present with these energies, we can allow them to move us towards their more rewarding corrective side. All these transits are corrective transits. There's nothing here that is kind of malevolent or meant to set us back. It's all corrective. It's all here to help us learn how to work with our own lives. So that's the big transit for this week. As we get towards the end of the week, we have a Venus square Pluto that kicks in stronger next week. So I'll talk about that next week. For this week, keep that focus on Mars opposite Neptune and go with the flow. And have a great week, everyone. Thank you for being here with me. And we'll see you next week.